And now turning to Chicago, a city under siege, a surge in gun violence and murders, turning the Windy City into a real war zone. Police are taking strong measures to stop the bloodshed, and this weekend, heavily armed SWAT teams took to the streets of Chicago. Will that be enough to stop the violence?
Over the last 6 days, violence has touched the lives of many grieving families and within the communities. And as you're well aware, the crime has no boundaries, striking both indoor and outdoor. In all these cases, members of the Chicago Police Department are even more determined to find the persons who have shot and killed the victims. Detectives have been working around the clock collecting evidence from last night's tragedy that claimed the lives of 5 young adult victims inside their home. The bottom line is we need the community's help.
You can't go nowhere these days without getting shot. You know, it's just crazy.
Sadly, many of the students say it's just part of their life.
We used to this stuff in here, so it wasn't real phased up. As long as we out the way when the bullets fly, that's all that matters.
I'm very scared for my son every day, and I just pray. That's all I can do.
But some in the community.
Little child, dry your crying eyes. How can I explain the fear you feel inside?
The victims were all in their 20s. Police are saying tonight this was not a random act. They believe the murders were committed by someone who was known to the victims, who forced their way into the home and left it ransacked.
Last night was violent all over the city. 20 people were shot in just 12 hours.
It's screaming that a shorty got shot.
The children cry, let them know we tried. 'Cause when the children sing, then the new world begins. Little child.
In Chicago, where the homicide rate has skyrocketed. 9 people were killed in dozens of shootings over the past few days.
In September, 24 Chicago public school kids have been murdered, most of them shot.
Last year, 34 students died. That's 58 students over what amounts to a 17-month period. On average, that's one child being murdered every 8 days.
Chicago police have their hands full again tonight. Gunfire erupts on the south side and at least one person is dead.
Under God, when the children cry, let them know we try. 'Cause when the children sing, then the new world begins.
The victim fled and crashed into a pole. Another vehicle then pulled up behind it. A victim was later taken from that scene in an ambulance with a police escort. This is all just the latest of a rash of violence that started Friday night.
Police say the gunman opened fire on them Friday night here at 110th and South Union.
And Chicago police brass are reacting to the violence-plagued weekend. They say most of the shootings are gang-related, and they're ready to implement new measures to crack down on the crime.
It's very alarming when I just got back from out of town, and to hear that number over a weekend, and we're not even, summer has not hit yet, so we can just imagine what the summer is going to be like.
Perpetuating violence, aggressive behavior. That's what people will gravitate toward. But if you turn the volume up on peace, people will gravitate toward that as well.
Last weekend alone in Chicago, 9 people were killed in gang violence and 36 separate shootings. Tim White.
Many people here very upset about these shootings. One minister told me after this weekend, Chicago could be known as the wild, wild Midwest. And he also said many people in his congregation are now afraid to walk to the grocery store.
And a teenager gunned down on Chicago's west side over the weekend is just the latest in a string of Chicago public school students killed by gun violence. Now school officials are very
We began in the city of Chicago, where Mayor Richard Daley has ordered one of America's major cities on all-out alert following a wave of shootings that left 9 people dead and several injured.
In Chicago today, readers did a double take when they passed the newsstand. This was the front page of the Sun-Times. It's not a mistake. It was the paper's way of urging readers not to turn their backs on a frightening problem. Since Friday, there have been 40 shootings resulting in 9 deaths. And as Cynthia Bowers reports, for months, the staggering toll has been greatest among the youngest.
Blood in the streets of Chicago, and police say they can't stop it alone.